Hello and welcome to QLab. In today's video we're going to be making food colourings from things you can get at the shop. Now we're going to then use these food colourings in a bit more of an investigative experiment, but we'll do that in another video. So if you want to follow along with making these food colourings, everything you need will be listed in the description, and let's get started. So you can see all the equipment we're going to need now. And the first thing is we're going to have a look at the grater. And a cup of water, though I've got a spoon in there at the minute. And a sieve. We're going to need that to filter things out. Some kitchen roll, that'll help. And of course the foodstuffs, the raspberries, turmeric and spinach. I did forget to show here, but you'll also need some little cups or bowls to collect the dye. So let's start with the spinach. Now, I was grating it on the small grating. It actually works quite well if you roll up some of the leaves together and then you have like a little solid chunk to grate. I found it did work quite well. If you have a blender, that would work very well too, but I just thought more people are likely to have a grater than a blender. And it does work remarkably well. You can see it's staining everything green. And there we've got the bits blended up, grated up, and you can see it's stained my hand already quite green. So this should work pretty well. Now we just need to add a little bit of water, and that's just to help bring the pigment out, but also to help us separate it when we try and squeeze this through. So you want that sieve and a piece of kitchen roll. If you just fold it up and pop it into the sieve, that sits nicely like that. And then we'll pack that with the mush, lovely green mush, and we can start to squeeze it through the kitchen roll and the sieve. It is a lovely, rich green pigment. I should say that the reason I'm not doing this with hot water is I find a lot of the extracted pigments degrade quite quickly with hot water. Especially these green ones, they tend to go very yellow and lose that really sort of rich green colour they have. So cold sort of pressing them seems to work a lot better. So we've got this lovely green pigment. Doesn't that look nice? Now, let's have a go with raspberries. It'll be a very similar process. So, started grating them on this, and it does work, but I have to be honest, you could mush these up with your finger or thumb or a pestle and mortar. They really don't need this kind of very special grating treatment. All you're wanting to do is break up the raspberries so you can get some of the juice out. You can see we've got some nice mush here, and I added just a little bit of water because actually the juice you get out is quite viscous. So we want to get that mixture and put it through the sieve. We don't need kitchen roll this time, just put it through the sieve simply, and you get that beautiful red pigment. Really is lovely. I do add a little bit of water though to make it just run a bit better because it's quite thick. But it's a lovely, lovely colour. Now we'll have a go with turmeric. Now I have to warn you with turmeric, it will stain everything yellow. So I'm going to only grate a small piece. I grate it up as finely as I can. And yes, it did stain my fingers yellow, and the grater, and the bowl, and most surfaces it touched. So we're just going to squeeze that through the sieve and get that lovely yellow pigment. They really are beautiful. So let's have a look at all the pigments that we've collected. There's this lovely red from the raspberries, and we're just testing it on some paper. Because you know, sometimes the colour can look really good, but when you do a thin layer, it's all washed out and it just looks mucky. Well, these don't, they look really pretty. There's yellow from the turmeric. And that really has a lovely bright colour. And finally we have the green from the spinach. It's so sort of intense, that colour. It looks black in the little bowl, but you'll see when it's put down it's a deep, rich green. Now I was quite interested in something about the turmeric because it seemed to have an iridescence or a luminescence, so I wanted to test it under a UV light. We'll see that in just a second. Where I set up a light, you can see it here, and then squirt some in. Look at that. Do you see the green emission? So that purple-blue colour is from the UV light, but the yellowy green, that's from the turmeric extract that we're using. So that pigment, it can glow under UV light. That's really quite exciting, isn't it? There's another one. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. It was a lot of fun. I was really surprised at how vibrant those colours were. Now we'll be using them in an upcoming video. So if you like this one, well, I hope you'll enjoy the next one. I hope you can subscribe if you enjoyed them, and we'll see you next time.